Hey YouTube, Untamed here. Today I'm pretty stoked to share with you guys this brand new 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser First Edition. In today's video, I'll highlight the exterior, the interior, give you my top 3 likes, my top 3 dislikes. We'll talk through the expected resale value of it, at least projected resale. Then we'll wrap up this video with, do I recommend buying one if you have an opportunity to? Stick with me. So let's start this video by doing a walk around and just highlighting all the exterior details. Really, with the First Edition here, you get the very classic heritage front end between that grille with the heritage Toyota script font up front, as well as these round circular headlights that look pretty incredible. Definitely paying homage to the Land Cruisers of the past, and I like that. You know, even as you look down the side, you're quickly greeted with that FJ Cruiser-esque side view mirror, and I think that looks pretty sleek. Let's focus more on the front here. You can see, hopefully you can see it, but actually on the top here it says Land Cruiser. Maybe I can get a good angle for you. It says Land Cruiser atop there. I think that looks good. We do have rigid industry fog lamps down below, which can flicker back between white light as well as amber, which is a nice touch. But you get a really good idea of just how wide and aggressive that fender flare is. So I really appreciate that with this Land Cruiser here. Show you underneath, it is running. You can kind of hear it buzzing at the moment. But you have that Toyota embossed front skid plate. In this video here, guys, obviously I'm just checking it out, driving it around town. I'm not off-roading it, and that's what where this Land Cruiser is really going to shine. It has so many off-roading goodies here, especially with the First Edition. It really is built for that. So to be fair, I'm giving you just a kind of day-to-day life experience with the Land Cruiser here. Let me know what you guys think of these wheels. They're pretty bare bones, pretty basic. I remember when I first saw a video of them and photos of them, I thought they were pretty, I don't know, I didn't like them when I saw the photos, but I'm actually kind of growing to appreciate them because it really does stay true to form for Toyota and the Land Cruiser in particular. If you look at all the Land Cruisers of the past, minus the Heritage Edition, they've always had very simplistic, basic wheels. So a very well-built wheel, I imagine, of course, but very simple, and I kind of like that. It's not trying to be anything it's not. Let's walk down the side here. We do have some rock sliders. I thought they were just bolted up to the rocker panel, but turns out when you look underneath, they actually are connected to the frame. So these are legit rock sliders there, which is neat. Have that hard plastic trim down the body line here of the side. Give you a better look at the FJ Cruiser-esque side view mirror. Looks nearly identical. I actually really like that. But you get a good idea of just how straight up and down that windshield is, which is great for visibility. You really are like in a fishbowl in there, you'll see here in a second, but very vulnerable and susceptible to rock chips when you're on the freeway. So just something to keep in mind while you're driving. Let's look at this window sticker. This largely is the point of contention for a lot of people. Just under $77,000 for this Land Cruiser, which, you know, historically speaking, the Land Cruiser has always been really expensive, and because of that, it has not fared well in the US. It hasn't sold well because, well, that Heritage Edition back in 2021, the last of the V8 200 series, was $91,000 with the third row, $89,000 and some change without that third row. So it's always been really expensive, the standard one being about $86,000. But the rub for a lot of people is you no longer have a bulletproof 5.7 liter V8 under the hood. We now have a 2.4 liter turbocharged iForce Max, that hybridized powertrain, which, I don't know, that rubs people the wrong way. And honestly, rightfully so, if we're being honest. It's a tiny little engine and we're paying a premium. All right, look out back here. The First Edition does come with that roof rack. A metal roof rack, looks pretty good, looks sleek on this. There's your I care about the environment badge. And your taillights, I think that looks good. I think the back end looks sleek. Obviously you can pop the rear glass there. You know, when you look at this, you see that belt line halfway through. And with it being black, it kind of hides a lot of the accents. Like this would be black or a different color. You know, it hides some of the accents with it all being black, which is kind of cool. It makes it kind of a stealth-like look, but it also kind of hides a lot of the aesthetics. But when you see that belt line, you just assume that we would still have that split hatch, like Land Cruisers of the past. But nope, not the case. Got only a standard hatch that pops up. And when you look at it, first impression, you're like, wow, that's kind of high up. You do have the hybridized, the battery pack is underneath the floor back here. And because of that, it bumps it up several inches. So that is a drawback for sure of having it be a hybridized platform. It's interesting because you do have cup holders back here, little charging ports. And it's just, it really is set up to have a third row optically, seemingly, right? But we just don't have that as an option across the entire lineup. The GX550 does have it on a couple of their trims, if I recall correctly. Not the Overtrail, which is a bummer. Let's see if we can pop this open. There you go. And there's your back glass opening up. But as far as the design goes on the exterior, I think Toyota did a really good job. Kind of a longer, elongated gas cap, or gas cap there. But look at the dimension of those fender flares. I think that looks pretty dang sleek. Much more dimension than what we found on the 200 series. Not to mention 200 series did not have a kind of a plastic trim molding around the actual fenders themselves. Kind of have some bare bones Michelin tires here. Nothing to write home to mom about by any means. You would have maybe expected some Terra grapplers, or what we find on like the 4Runner and Tundra TRD Pro. I would have expected that. Let me show you the back seat here. Kind of start with the door card here. With it being a first edition, you have it embossed in the soft to the touch leather feel. Very padded. This feels nice. Harder up here. Not hard plastic, but just harder. Metal door handles, which is nice, a nice touch, and the JBL tweeter for the speaker system. Kind of the white, maybe silver stitching here, more of that soft to the touch leather padded material. Couple cup holders down here. All weather floor mats in this one as an additional option. This one's kind of corked forward here. Probably fix that, adjust it. But not bad. The leather itself feels great. No complaints there. It feels premium. Kind of like what we found in the 200 series. So really no difference there by feel anyway. Your climate controls for your backseat occupants. You know, you got your temperature and of course your fan speed over there with your charging ports down below. Black headliner, which is nice. They could have easily cheaped out and put gray or tan up here. So nice to see that they did that. Little magazine holders out back. So it carries on up front. Like I said, the vehicle is running right now, but you never really know. It's just kind of buzzing at the moment. First edition embossed up here in the leather. Very similar to what we found out back, of course. Window controls there. You have memory seating positions. Lock, unlock, your window controls, your mirror controls. But yeah, it is a very comfortable spot to be. All right, I won't sugarcoat that. It's very nice, soft touch leather, very cushiony. It feels good and it holds you nicely, really. It does not feel as premium as the 200 series. The 200 series, you know, when you get in it and you start feeling around, you got metal finishes, metal bezels around everything. You got wood grain up here, although it doesn't maybe look that great. It's just very premium to the touch and feel. So you do not have that same exact feel when you get in here. A lot of plastic going on down here, right? But this really is where this vehicle shines, right? All the off-roading capabilities. You got your traction control, center diff lock, rear diff lock, your stability bar here, disconnect, which is great because when you click that, here, let me click it and you can see it flash up here. So kind of flashing. You can kind of hear buzzing down there too when you do it. We'll hit it again. Oop, wrong one. There we go. Kind of buzzes off. That there allows you for just to have a little bit better wheel articulation when you're off-roading, which is really nice. So definitely swanky when it comes to off-roading capabilities here. You got your different drive modes here. Let me get in here and show you, give you a better look. Give you a better look here. So drive modes here, you can flip through sport, normal, or eco. Right, so pretty standard stuff there that we've gotten used to at this point. Multi-terrain selection, MTS button here. When you click it, you press that button and you can kind of see it kind of starts glowing. That's when you know you're on that one, of course, and then you can use your little toggle here to go through the different modes. Dirt, auto, sand, mud, and deep snow. So a little bit of a little graphic that pops up. A little slow, a little laggy, I've noticed with the digital display here. It might just be me, maybe me getting used to it, but I've noticed it kind of lagging behind about a half second, a second or so. So just something to kind of be aware of. Your push to start obviously right here. One thing I don't love about this one is, although the infotainment screen is nice, it's not like an aftermarket iPad bumping up here, protruding above everything. I like the placement of it. I don't love this. I don't love this little tiny little rink-a-dink volume control and power control. That feels weird and an afterthought to me. But I do like how it's all integrated together. It flows nicely. And honestly, so many new vehicles have giant, like 14-inch large, huge ones right here. So I actually kind of like the size of it. It's proportionate for the dash, in my opinion. Fan controls, everything down here is very intuitive, very straightforward. I personally have never been a huge fan of like the toggle switches here, with the different modes. Temperature control, I would prefer a knob for the temperature control. Be able to twist something, especially if you got gloves on. I mean, you could do that with gloves, but it's just, I'd prefer a knob for that kind of stuff. Just a personal preference. Heated steering wheel, heated cool seats there. The standard stuff that we've gotten used to and expect at this price point, absolutely. Wireless charging tray down here, a few charging ports up there. The charging tray works nicely. Had my phone there. Your electronic park and brake, and downhill assist control and your crawl control. Again, just swanky little bits for off-roading that we've gotten used to really with our Toyotas. And the one thing good about the crawl control now is no longer loud and clunky and clanky, right? I mean, it used to be kind of make all these crazy noises that your vehicle sounds like it's about ready to fall apart. They've gotten rid of that, and they've actually made it a lot more seamless and very nice. So yeah, that's not brand new, but they've gotten a lot better with that anyway. So you get a good hint. You got your tow haul button down here. I appreciate the intuitiveness of the infotainment that Toyota does have. Wireless, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, things that, again, you expect at this point. These here, when I looked at these, I thought these were going to be really cheap and chintzy because they look cheap and chintzy. They're little plastic, little vents, not impressive to the eye, but by the feel, they really are. I don't know, like it does feel good. I don't know a good way to say that, but it feels nice. It feels well put together anyway. This here, I like this. It's like a little rope, almost like a snakeskin rope here, unique for the first edition. I really like that. Metal bezel there in the end, kind of soft to the touch, leather feel up here, harder up here, but it's more of a rubberized material. So I'm hopeful that Toyota was purposeful with what they put here because they want it to last, right? And Toyota's Land Cruisers historically have always been a vehicle that they build to last 25 plus years with minimal maintenance. And this just might be an indicator of that. A rubberized, hard, right here is hard plastic, but right here is that more of that rubberized feel. So I think that might age better is what I'm hopeful for anyway. But yeah, more vents over there. Pretty straightforward, but overall a nice spot to be, guys. So I won't beat this up. And the biggest plus of this vehicle truly is right here. Let me show you. This really is exceptional. So this right here, this is it's almost becoming a thing of the past with a lot of our favorite Toyotas. 100% built in Japan. That is incredible, and that is a testament to the overall durability of this vehicle here and overall quality control and just how well put together it is. I can honestly tell you that. I've owned, like many of you guys, a number of 4Runners, a number of Land Cruisers in the past, and all of my Japanese built in Japan vehicles have always been exceptional when it comes to fit, finish, and overall quality. I've never had a single gripe, not to mention even with my powertrains, I've never had a single issue with any of them. So I'm hopeful. I really am hopeful for this platform here. I'm hopeful that Toyota got it right. and they didn't botch it with that tiny little 4-cylinder hybridized platform here. I'm hopeful, guys, I really am. So with that, actually let me show you here, I didn't show this. This is that cool box. Got that cool box. Obviously hit the button there. Can kind of hear the fan blowing in there now. I could do without that kind of stuff. I don't really care for that personally, but it is a nice kind of touch for the Land Cruiser. Historically, they have had that, minus the Heritage Edition in the past. Very soft leather here. Again, more of that white stitching. Land Cruiser embossed up here in that kind of a hard plastic. I don't think that's metal. It has plastic there. But overall, a sea of plastic in here. And again, that's kind of a part of the savings, right? Even though this is the premium first edition, the highest priced one, is still far less money than the 200 series. Keep that in mind. This is based on the 250 series. And you notice it, right? You get in here and it just doesn't feel quite on par with that 200 series. And if you owned one, you'll notice that right away. But it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, guys. So I'm gonna pop the hood here and show you what we're working with here with that 2.4 liter. So again, it is still running at the moment. So this one here is, if I can do it with one hand, yikes, sorry guys. Should see me get a bra off. Okay, so this here is the heart of the beast. We got that 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder iForce Max hybridized platform here, same one we're going to find in the 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, the 2025 4Runner TRD Pro, Trailhunter, top trims, right? I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on this at all, especially for the price that they want for this particular one. But there is no denying the performance numbers on it, right? There's no denying the fact that 326 horsepower, 465 foot-pounds of torque is impressive. It is. The towing capability is 6,000 pounds with this particular Land Cruiser. Those are impressive numbers, guys. So we can dog it all we want, but that is good. But for me, it truly has deviated a little bit too much from what this Land Cruiser nameplate is and what it stands for and what it always has been. It's just a little bit too far off the grid, in my personal opinion, and perhaps biased opinion because I've owned so many of them. But you guys tell me how you feel. Got that unique to the first edition mud flaps. I think those look great. I'm gonna try to show you underneath it real quick. This may not go as planned. Let's see. An idea of the suspension here. Those are pretty robust looking lower control arms. Everything down here does look a little beefier than what we would expect to see on like a 4Runner or Tacoma anyway. That full skid plate goes pretty deep underneath this. Look at that. It goes pretty far back there, and that's pretty nice to see. Tow hooks right here. Take that, Tundra. Yeah, no, let me know what you guys think. All right, let's talk through my top 3 likes and my top 3 dislikes. Let's start with the positive. Number 1, most importantly, like I just showed you there in the sticker, it's built entirely out of Japan, and that gives itself a ton of style points. You can buy this with pretty good peace of mind, knowing that the fit and finish is going to be second to none, and the overall quality in and out is just going to be exceptional. So number 1, built in Japan. Number 2, the overall design. I think Toyota did a really good job at the design of this Land Cruiser, right? So the whole entire side silhouette, the side profile, the wide fender flares, that heritage front grille, even the back end, I think looks really good. So the design is definitely an important piece. Number 3 is kind of twofold here. One, just open up the doors, you can feel that it's very sturdy. It kind of lends itself to it being built in Japan as a big piece of that equation. So very sturdy to the touch, and when you open up the door, everything feels very well built. And on top of that, when you sit in it, after you open up that sturdy door and you sit in there, you can see that commanding view of the road with that very much fishbowl-like interior, right? You have huge windows all throughout, excellent visibility, a very commanding view of the road. And for me, I really appreciate that kind of stuff. All right, let's talk through my top 3 dislikes. Number 1, the engine. I don't love the fact that we're forced to have a tiny 2.4 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged hybridized platform. It's very complex. It's not what we have grown to expect and love from Toyota Land Cruisers. So number 1, the engine. Let's get that out of the way. Number 2, that price tag. For the first edition here, almost 77 grand feels like a huge pill to swallow for a lot of people. So the price tag is definitely no good. Number 3 would be the lack of split tailgate here. I think that has become a staple of the Land Cruiser. So seeing that it does not have that split hatch, being able to open up the top 2/3 and have that tailgate, I think is a huge misstep for Toyota. So those are my top 3 dislikes. All right, let's talk about resale real quick. Toyota Land Cruisers have always been built to last 25 plus years with minimal maintenance and minimal issue. That's what Toyota technicians have always gone into building this with, that kind of mindset. Because of that mindset, people could always buy this vehicle and know that they could buy a used one 10, 15 years later down the road and know that it still has a lot of life left in it. So that mindset right there has always lent itself very nicely to having a great resale, of course. Great residual value for the Land Cruiser. So we can expect that with this. However, I still think we need to give it a couple years, right? We need to be able to work out the bugs, kinks, and quirks that are going to be within this new platform here. No vehicle manufacturer is exempt from that. They all kind of carry the first initial model year issues, and this is going to have it for sure. So if you are going to buy one, you're committed to buying one, I would recommend waiting till 2025, 2026 before you actually start eyeballing it. Let them work out the issues, let them work out the recalls, let other people be the guinea pigs for that. Not to mention, popularity will have come down a little bit, and your chances of getting a better deal and discount off of MSRP goes up tremendously. So resale value, I think, is going to be promising, especially for the first edition here. It's a limited production vehicle. You can expect it to continue to sell well for the first few years here, no doubt. If you look at the 200 series, I've owned a few. That 2021 Toyota Land Cruiser Heritage Edition, brand new, $91,000 with the third row. $89,000 some change without the third row for the Heritage Edition. Now, if you're going to try to buy one with 35,000, 40,000 miles on it, you're still paying that much for it. You're still paying $90,000 or $89,000 for a used one with 30 or 40,000 miles on it and a few years old. That's saying something, right? A huge piece of that equation is the fact that it had the last of the naturally aspirated V8, right? It is the very last of its kind. So a lot of people know that, and they have gravitated back to it for that reason. It's the whole forbidden fruit thing now, and they miss it. So when it comes to resale, all that to say, I do think it is going to be promising on the first edition here in particular, but overall, I don't think you're going to lose your rear end if you decide to sell it a couple years down the road. So we'll wrap up this video with, do I recommend buying one if you have an opportunity to? I'd say yes. I mean, it's still a Japanese-built Land Cruiser. Obviously, if you can wait till 2025 or 26, like I mentioned, let them work out the couple bugs and kinks that are likely going to be in this platform. That's ideal. But if you're gun-ho about getting a new Toyota, this would be the one. It's built entirely out of Japan, exceptional quality control like we talked about. You can have pretty good peace of mind in buying a Land Cruiser. Toyota doesn't want to let us down with this legendary nameplate, and they shouldn't let us down. So even though you may not love the 4-cylinder here, as I don't, you can still at least have some faith and trust in Toyota to hopefully not let us down. Hopefully they won't let us down with the legendary nameplate here. So if you have a chance to get one, you can absolutely buy one at MSRP pretty easily. Like I mentioned maybe earlier in the video here, you can easily find these. Dealers are offering them up, even first editions, at MSRP pretty easily. So do not pay a markup. Don't fall victim to a greedy dealership trying to take advantage of your excitement. They may claim, hey, we're only going to get 1 or 2. The dealership may only get 1 or 2. There's 100 other dealerships probably in your region that you can call up. There's other options for you. Don't fall victim to paying a markup on it. So if you want to get one, pay a sticker for it. I think you'll be happy with it. So as always, guys, I do appreciate you taking the time to tune into these videos. If you appreciated this, I would sincerely appreciate, respectfully request that you like and subscribe. Always feel a little ugly asking that question, but I would like to grow out this channel here, and do more for you guys. If you have any other vehicles that you'd like to see on this channel, please let me know in the comment section. I'd be happy to try to get my hands on one. And then finally, I'd like to just say one more thank you to Ken Garf Toyota here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, for allowing me the opportunity to get behind the wheel of this new Land Cruiser, go through all the details with you guys, and share this content with you. So shout out to Kevin, the general manager here at my local Toyota. If you're interested in a Land Cruiser moving forward, be sure to check them out. They're going to be charging MSRP, no markups with them. As always, guys, appreciate you watching. As always, until next time.